Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you two. A year later, do you feel like you're getting
Next question. Yeah, we'll move on. Thank you.
Angel Reese was asked about this exact statement, and she decided to duck.
The nasty facial expressions coinciding with her answer. You can see it clear as day. It's written on her face. She's disgusted.
Angel Reese recently embarrassed herself in front of the globe on live television after refuting her own audacious assertion that women's basketball fans watch her.
This clip is going to follow her.
She lied outright and ducked like a coward, which is the most pitiful thing we've ever seen from someone who used to declare herself a superstar.
So she doesn't want to take responsibility for her own words.
At her most recent press conference, Angel Reese, Miss I'm the reason people watch women's basketball, sat in a room full of reporters, received a softball question about her own words, and folded like a $5 lawn chair at a barbecue. Have you ever seen someone set themselves on fire and then act surprised when it burns?
Long since I've seen this clip, I forgot how arrogant Angel Reese sounded. I forgot how full of herself Angel Reese sounded. I forgot not only how nasty she sounded, the nasty facial expressions coinciding with her answer. You can see it clear as day. It's written on her face. She's disgusted.
The query was straightforward. Do you still think that people watch women's basketball because of you two? Her response was 2 words, followed by a question, and the answer was no. It wasn't fierce or powerful, rather it was awkward and uncomfortable. It was the verbal equivalent of a blue screen error. Her WNBA identity is now defined by that viral clip of her dodging the one thing she couldn't escape from herself, not by her game, her stats, or her presence.
The clip heard around the world. The clip that will be following Angel Reese for the rest of her career. As long as her games don't sell out.
Her body language made it seem as though she had just been caught lying on a job application, and the silence in the room was deafening for someone who had spent the better part of a year establishing her reputation. And let's not forget the original quote she was running from last year when Angel stood on national television with her entire chest and said, "People watch women's basketball because of me too."
I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to...
With pride, attitude, and the conviction of someone who genuinely thought her Instagram followers were WNBA ticket holders, she said it. However, the same quote suddenly reappeared like karma in sneakers, and she had no numbers, no explanation. Just the question, if confidence had a sound, that was not it. Instead, we heard the sound of a balloon deflating.
As long as her games don't sell out, as long as her games don't attract a good number of celebrities, as long as her games don't have any type of viewership motion, for lack of better terms, as long as all those 3 facts remain the same, this clip is going to follow her.
See, this isn't just a humorous moment. It's a full-blown unraveling Angel who went from being a media darling to a media dodgeball player, and not a good one either. You can't ask for the spotlight and then duck when it comes up. That's not star behavior. That's middle school assembly energy. Nevertheless, let's assume that she was simply having a rough day, that she was exhausted, that Mercury was in retrograde, or whatever. The hard attendance receipts, however, aren't in retrograde.
Sorry, young lady. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody would be watching the WNBA additionally for you. This is all about...
Let's discuss the numbers since, in contrast to Angel's justifications, Chicago's stats don't lie. Just 8,000 people a game is the sky average home attendance in 2024. That's not bad if you're throwing a neighborhood jazz night at a community center, but for the WNBA's supposed breakout star, that's hardly a ripple. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is playing in the Indiana Fever games. Feel free to inhale deeply. Every game, there are more than 1,700 fans, which is known as demand. This is what star power truly looks like.
Caitlin Clark is bringing the money to the game, the planes to the game, the TV viewership. The WNBA is on fire.
Let's now examine Reese's significant homecoming game at LSU. If your college can't even pretend to be excited to see you again, you have a branding issue. You would think it would be a celebration, right? A hero's return, fireworks, fans, confetti, but only 6,000 people showed up in an arena that can hold 13,000, which is less than half full. That's not a homecoming, that's a courteous shrug from the city that made her.
She talked about sold out arenas. What arenas are selling out that Caitlin Clark isn't playing in? I need to know. I need to know. But the Las Vegas Aces. No.
Want additional evidence? Let's look at the Chicago preseason receipts. If Reese was hoping to ride the wave of hometown love or national buzz, well, that wave never materialized. The Sky preseason game against the Minnesota Lynx drew only 4,600 fans, which isn't even enough to start a respectable food fight. Then there was the game in Minnesota, which drew 7,600 fans, and let's be honest, they weren't there for Angel.
And there's people clowning the person that asked this. It was her statement going during the basketball season from last year, and the person's asking for her current feelings on said statement, her own statement. She pulled a next question.
The ugly truth is that this Angel isn't drawing large crowds, arousing interest, or compelling people to declare, "I must be there." The narrative has fallen under the weight of empty rows and bored ushers, and the data doesn't whisper it, it screams it. She isn't the reason why people are flocking to these games that entire populations watch because of me.
What about viewership? Tell me everybody who's getting consistently over 1 million views on their basketball games, not named Caitlin. Oh, okay. And then Angel Reese goes into, oh, I'll be happy to play the villain role. I'll be happy to play the villain, but don't be mean to me.
And just when you think the money is going to stop, we find out about the jersey disaster. If people truly believe in you, they will purchase your name and wear your brand on their backs. In the end, Caitlin Clark's jersey became the second highest selling basketball jersey in the entire sport, including the NBA, but Steph Curry, a 4-time NBA champion and MVP legend, outsold her.
And here we go again. 1.3 million people tuned in on Sunday afternoon to see Caitlin Clark return to Iowa as a professional and start raining in three-pointers from ridiculous distance.
Don't talk about being the reason people watch. You're not even the reason people shop. And let's just say that if you walk into any sports store and find her jersey collecting dust in the clearance bin, it didn't even make the top 10. That's invisibility when the list of the most sold jerseys drops, and you're nowhere near it.
Statements from last year, that's from a circus. That was a clown show statement to have made about watching for us and blah, blah, blah.
Going a step further, Caitlin Clark not only outsold everyone, but also LeBron James, read that again, who has won multiple championships and is still an icon, and her merchandise was selling more quickly. That's marketing you can't fake, not hype. Meanwhile, Angel is waiting for her PR team to tweet something spicily interesting. Oh, and speaking of demand, WNBA teams are actually relocating their games to NBA arenas in order to accommodate the crowds attempting to see Caitlin Clark. Just consider how crazy that is. Preseason games, not playoffs or finals, are being upgraded because of the Clark effect, and Angel Reese, nobody is moving a single folding chair for her. She could enter an empty YMCA, and nobody is setting up an additional row of bleachers.
Angel Reese voluntarily went on a quote, they're watching for me too, and I want y'all to realize that rant, because she wanted that attention. She created the drama, asking her about her comment as we enter a new season is perfectly normal and not stirring things up. Absolutely.
That's the problem. In the meantime, Caitlin Clark didn't have to say a thing. The fans spoke for her. Angel created a lot of noise, talked the talk, and sparked the drama, but she didn't deliver, and people aren't buying it. From where I stand, Angel isn't leading the revolution. She's just shouting from the sidelines while Caitlin builds the kingdom. Therefore, the next time she wants to claim that she's the reason people are watching, she might want to bring some facts to the table. The numbers did the shouting, and the league bent the knee.
Time Magazine Sports, because of me. Everything Caitlin Clark has is because of me. Angel, you could have.
Let's take a moment to discuss celebrity draw, because it seems like Angel Reese believes that she is out here packing stadiums with A-listers based on her celebrities. Which ones are the guy from Subway commercials, her uncle? Because the receipts are dry? Meanwhile, every time Caitlin Clark touches a basketball, half of Hollywood shows up like it's Coachella's opening night, and it's not just basketball fans either. It's actors, NFL players, influencers, and even retired legends who are all there because of Caitlin, not Reese.
Why are we next? This guy set you up perfectly to give an answer of you being full of yourself. Oh, I'm so glad you asked that. They are only watching because of me too. They only know that other girl because of me too. They only go to her games instead of my games because of me too. They only watch all of her games instead of watching all of my games because of me too. She's the #1 jersey seller in the WNBA. Why?
Every Indiana Fever game has become a must-attend event due to Clark's presence, both literally and figuratively. They have even printed tour shirts that state that every game is a home game because fans follow Clark everywhere she goes, and she is the WNBA. In contrast, Angel can't even get her own college arena to half fill for her homecoming. Let that contrast simmer for a moment.
The Indiana Fever being that premier team in the WNBA, they are the team that has the most fans. Like they said, every home game, or away game turns into a home game. Like they know that they have that.
Then, to make matters worse, her mother gets on Twitter as if she's in charge of crisis management, saying, "We look at championship banners, not attendance. Nobody inquired about your hypothetical rafters, girl. We're talking about concrete data." Here, when a mother must log in and explain her daughter's public mishap, it's no longer PR, it's glitter glue damage control view. The problem with being the villain is that you have to prove yourself, win, and be unquestionable. You can't just bark for a year straight and then curl up the moment someone asks for your stats. Angel believed she could play the villain and still be loved by answering questions and responding to comments on Instagram. That is now embarrassing and not brave. When Caitlyn's homecoming game at Carver Hawkeye Arena was announced, the numbers did all the heavy lifting, so she doesn't even need to defend herself. It wasn't just excitement, it was pandemonium, and ticket resellers pretended to have sold out 15,000 tickets in 45 minutes, which is quicker than most people can choose what to buy at a drive-thru. Wristbands by Taylor Swift Angel. Remember to press the bell and subscribe so you don't miss another reality check like this one. Reese was just exposed by her own words.